So, you join me in beautiful Ely. Bit overcast. There's a bit of beach cricket going on as usual. But yes, today's vlog, I thought I'd just do a sort of follow-up piece to my thoughts on my GS 1250 Adventure. Wow, that's a lot of people getting out. Yeah, so I bought this bike in November 2025, and pretty much the week after I bought it, took it straight to Orkney in Shetland, and ship in nice and busy because of the cricket. Yeah, I took it up to Orkney in Shetland, and yes, those vlogs are there. Again, it's a trip, so none of them have performed brilliantly, and yeah, it is what it is, really. I had a good time. It was bloody freezing, but it was a great run out in the bike. Effortless, didn't miss a beat, and yeah, heated seats and heated grips, got a really good workout, and yeah, enjoyed myself just touring around Orkney and Shetland. Great place to be if you've not been. Probably wouldn't advise taking your bike up there middle of November because it was bollocks freezing. But well, there's Barnett's has been done up. Slightly different. So yeah, it was bloody cold, but gave me a great opportunity to get a feel for the bike, and yeah, no other bikers up there, and yeah, that was really my first big trip in this GS 1250. How does it compare to the Tiger 800 that I had before? Well, if you watched my vlogs whereby I tried Andy's 1250 and then test drove the 1300 and then test rode this triple black. So 2024, last of the 1250s. Had approximately 3,000 miles on it when I picked it up. One owner, chap who constantly changes his bikes at BMW Motorrad Tayside, and they spoke very highly of how clean this was, low miles, last of the 1250s, came with a top box but no panniers, and yeah, so I pretty much took it for a ride and then bought it. Unsurprisingly, or surprisingly to me, I thought there would be some chunky discount on it, but there wasn't. So yeah, ended up getting a small discount, very small. But, you know, as I saw with another 1250 I really liked, they were disappearing fast. So it wasn't a case of, well, 1300's out now, nobody wants a 1250. And looking at the range of bikes that were out there, there was nothing with such low miles on it, so I just went for this. Really pleased I did. I've said it before, I'm not a massive fan of black in cars, not really a massive fan of black on bikes either, but I have toyed with the idea, and I might just push the button on getting a wrap put on it. I really like, those that know me will know I like green. However, that brings me to probably the only negative that I can think of that I've had experience-wise with this bike is the tank here. Now, you'll see there's the triple black stripes, which are vinyl, and yeah, I noticed not so much after, I guess it must have been beginning of this year, I noticed whether it's my textile suit and the seams or it's my riding jeans, but either one of them or a combination of both were starting to sort of scuff the vinyl on here. So it was starting to look a bit tatty, which wasn't great. Anyway, I noticed the bike came with this tank protector stuff. So a quick, I think it was actually Amazon in the end, quick search for 1250. I was going to get it PPF'd, but anyway, I searched for 1250GS sort of tank protection, I think was the phrase I used. And yeah, these side, I'm trying to remember what they are, sort of like a hardened plastic, resiny type sticker, quite chunky. But yeah, they're on both sides. So I got them this week, put them on, and it obviously hides the scuffing of the vinyl beneath and gives it some more protection, which is good. So happy about that. 40 something pounds, money well spent, I think, unless I do decide to wrap the bike, in which case I will have to strip them off, and that'll be a massive waste of money. However, that is, to be honest, the only massive bugbear since buying this bike, was that the vinyl was starting to show wear. As I say, I should have maybe PPF'd the bike straight away. But as with every car I've had, I've always thought about it, never bothered, and then regretted it later, but there we go. So yeah, it's, you know, I've now done, buy it with, too busy blathering, my lines are all over the shop, 6,461 miles on the clock just now. So I would hazard a guess I've done about 3,000 miles on the bike since November, which probably about right actually. And I suspect once we've been to ABR Festival, the end, middle of this month, where are we now? 6th of June. Whoa! Yeah, this is why you have to always be paying attention. So yeah, let's say I've done 3,000 miles, 2,500 miles, whatever it might be. Got to know the bike pretty well, sat my IAM test on it, did my last IAM sort of mock ride with Jason, who was very upset that I was switching bikes, having done all my other test prep on my Tiger, but I'd sold the Tiger, so it didn't feel right taking that out. So yes, but actually what was really funny was he commented that I was much better suited to this bike and was riding a lot more confidently. We discussed briefly why that was, and he said, you know, it's just a better set-up bike. The telematic suspension will make a big difference. Perhaps the Tiger wasn't set up for me, for my weight, for whatever it might be. I'm 5'11", 15 stone. So yeah, I mean, the Tiger in comparison was an XCX, so you know, it was much like this, but it just didn't have the sophisticated telematic suspension that the GS does. And you know, I think that's when I first rode Andy's 1250, that's what stood out to me, was just how planted the 1250 feels. You know, even though it's the Adventure and it's a 30-litre tank, It's just a lot more, well, I certainly felt that, a lot more confidence inspiring. Yeah, wrong line round that corner as well, Mr. Hay. Yeah, quick shifter. Let's talk about the quick shifter, shall we? You know, everyone complains it's agricultural, and if you go back to my review of the 1300, which was in October, November last year, just before I bought this, I was very critical of it, the quick shifter. Like most things, I then did some research because I thought there was maybe a way to smooth out the quick shifter, and that is a very random place to stop. And then I started watching some videos on the 1250 quick shifter, and there's no real need to smooth it out because it was user error on my part. Doing silly amateurish things like changing up without accelerating, or just being very raggedy. Downshifts have always been great. Just ease off the throttle and downshift and very smooth. Upshifts, first and, well, that was second to third, and it was relatively smooth. This is accelerate out of here. Yeah, perfect. Nice little pop from the exhaust. So yeah, as long as you're on the throttle, positive throttle, and horrible gravel from all the fields where it's rained. But yeah, so similarly, if I change down a gear now, off the throttle, more gravel, Jesus. Yeah, downshifts have always been lovely. Yeah, get me up to 6th in no time. So I've really can't complain about the quick shifter at all. It's, you know, once you get used to it, once you understand how it's meant to work, which was the key thing for me, never having had a bike with a quick shifter, nobody tells you how to use it. So yeah, quick YouTube tutorial later, and I was banging through the gears, understanding how it worked, and yeah, very smooth. So if we go from 5th now down to 3rd, ideal. And actually, having had this on the track on Thursday at Knockhill, yeah, quick shifter, brilliant. Just very easy, just especially when you're on track and needing to fully concentrate. Here's a collie that doesn't like bikes. So yeah, the quick shifter was absolutely genius. So yeah, quick shifter. What else? I guess the remote key has been genius. Not having to dick about getting keys out. Yeah, it's very good. I just put the keys in my pocket when I leave the house, and away you go. I am seemingly having a funny issue whereby the battery keeps depleting to 50% very quickly, throwing up error messages. Now, that could be the shitey old batteries in a packet that I pulled out and are past their sell-by date, or there could be something funny going on with my bike keys being next to my X5 keys, and I don't know whether there's some funny BMW weird depleting of battery, or whether my bike, and I don't think it is this, is in the garage almost slightly in range, so it's trying to communicate to the bike. Don't know, no idea. Haven't done any research on that, but what I do know is that, yeah, I changed the batteries, and then about a month or two later I was getting that 50% warning coming up on on my screen here saying, no need to worry, but your battery is at 50%. And I was like, already? I mean, it doesn't do very much, but I guess it is. There must be, even when you're riding it, some form of the fob communicating to the bike quite a lot. Like if I get off the bike and go into the garage, when it started, it will automatically recognize that the key is away from the bike. So yeah, it pops that message just to say your key is not in range any longer. Settings on the bike. Do you know what? I still haven't, having got the bike, I still haven't actually sat and fucking load of gravel. I still haven't actually sat and played with all the settings and the menus. I mean, the clock's still an hour out, and I pretty much leave the bike in dynamic. But for instance, I should be able to, using the mode function, cycle through dynamic, eco, rain, and road. Those are the four that I've got on there just now. Let's put it back into dynamic. Where's dynamic pro? Apparently they're all there, but there's only so many modes you can assign to the mode button at once. So yeah, I should actually one day play around with all the different settings. I remember test riding the 1250 Andes. I didn't touch any of the features. The 1250 and the 1300 I test rode. I started playing around with the menu system, and the Wonder Wheel was just like, what is this all about? Not the reason I'm riding it, so I will play around with it later. I still haven't done that, so yeah, there you go. Visor, not a visor, windscreen even. Windscreen, and this is great. That's it, I think, fully up at the moment, and I really notice the difference, especially when vlogging. If I put that windscreen down a bit, that's an interesting place to break down. Yeah, if I put the windscreen down so it sort of folds, angles in a bit, you really notice the difference actually. And I noticed it when I was editing a video and I'd left the screen down. You could definitely hear a lot more wind noise. I guess a good time to talk about the exhaust. I've obviously thought about changing it, but again, I think like the Tiger, speaking to Andy, asking why he hasn't either, the same response, you know, what's the point? Euro 5 regs just mean that pretty much everything sounds a bit shit in it, unless you're going to decat it, which I'm not going to do because I can't be hooped with the hassle of an MOT and then having to put the cat back on, which I think is the case if it's to pass its emissions. Some of you may know otherwise. But yeah, do I get an Akrapovic exhaust which maybe looks a bit nicer and maybe to the trained ear sounds a bit throatier? To be honest, compared to the Tiger, this sounds lovely anyway when you're banging through the gears with a quick shifter. Whether you're going down, you get that little pop. Yeah, I genuinely don't, no massive requirement to change the exhaust on this. You know, it's an adventure bike, it's not a sports bike. Although I will admit, I do have a little hankering for a sports bike after Knockhill. Not to say that I would ever go and be a track junkie in a bike, because as you see from my riding, I'm quite cautious anyway. But I think it'd be nice to have a wee sports bike. I'm not sure whether it's my neighbour Alan, who's just got his Ducati. I'm sitting behind that for an hour or two whilst he was out riding, thinking, it's definitely a thing of beauty. But yes, one of the guys that was on the IM skills day with had a lovely little 600 RR Honda, I think, and it sounded amazing. But yes, I am trying to be sensible at the moment when it comes to toys and money, which I'm not known for. Don't get me wrong, I'm not outrageous when it comes to spending, but I am conscious, and maybe it's hitting the age of 45, that retirement's not that far away, and yeah, shitload of gravel all over the road. Yes, retirement is coming, and investing and saving have never been my strong points, so maybe I've got to give myself a slight chance and get on with putting some cash away. Oh, that felt so wrong saying all of that. But yes, we will see. Maybe if I do choose to get rid of the X5 next week, which is going to auction on CarWow, if I get a decent above my reserve price I've set, then yeah, I will be driving a shitty Renault Megane Estate. I thought about it the other day, and this is the reason I think I've managed to sign off on it. Decide it's an acceptable thing to do for a man that loves cars, probably more than bikes. Going from a lovely X5 to my old man's 90,000 mile Renault Megane touring. I'm going to place bets as to when I effing hate myself for making that decision. I suspect it won't take long. But no, anyway, I think what I was trying to say there was that, I just don't do any miles anymore. I'm sat at home 5 days a week, so, if we go anywhere, it's usually to take the dog for a walk, without wanting to sound like my life is dull and boring. It's, we do get away, and it's nice to have the X5 to fully load up and fill with all our shit when we go away, like paddle boards, and the dog takes up the whole of the back of the X5, which is complete nonsense because, as you've seen, she's a tiny, small fox red lab who never really grew past the age of 9 months, so yeah, she doesn't need a whole X5 bit to herself. But yeah, so I don't know, another bike could be on the horizon. We shall see. What else on this bike? So we've covered off windscreen, due its first service in September. I think, just for ease, I will just take it to Tayside Motorrad and get them to continue servicing it. Obviously not going to be a big service at I'll probably have done 12,000 miles. Yeah, September time I think, or August or September. So where are we? June now. June, I've got probably at least 1,000 miles going down to ABR festival on the 23rd, I think it is, 22nd, the Wednesday we're going down. So yeah, I'm probably easily going to do 1,000 miles there and back to Ragley Hall. So that'll take me to that's the wrong button, Mr. Hay. Yeah, as you can see, I'm demonstrating my lack of ability to work my bike. Where were we? We were just looking for the... $6,400, so 7.5. Let's call it by September between definitely 8.5 and 10k, so 10,000 miles. That'll be 10k in 1 year of ownership. 10k total in from 3,000, so I've done 7,000. You can tell maths is not my strong point. I will have done 7,000 miles by August, September since picking up the bike, and it was serviced in September last year. So, as I said, absolutely nothing has gone wrong with this bike. Yes, I've only owned it for, where are we, June now? So November, December, 7 months, and it's been spot on. So, and it, as I say, did get ridden for November, probably didn't do much in December, January, and then was back out in February on it. So, yeah. I have changed the rear tyre. I think the Michelin Aniki that was on the bike was an original. Bike had only done 3,000 miles. When I picked it up, it looked fine, but obviously I then put 3,000 miles on the bike, so I got it a new Aniki Adventure 2 fitted to the rear, which was not cheap, it had to be said. When your tyre guy is telling you that actually he runs around on some Chinese indicator might have helped. Bloody hell. So yeah, I'm choosing the latest Michelin Aniki Adventure 2 at 300 and something quid, and fitted right in, right out. And he's got some new Chinese block things on this 1200. Anyway, Aniki Adventure 2 seems like a good tyre. I think the real test will be when I put, I think, to be honest, by the time I ride down to Ragley Hall and back, I did the track day yesterday, probably get another 1,000 miles after ABR out of the rear tyre. I don't know, might surprise me. But the front will need changed for sure. He said it was starting to square off. You could see the beginning of that. Still a tiny bit, well no, a bit of tread left on the front. Not urgent, but I think by the time I do ABR and back, front will be definitely needing changed. Kind of annoying doing it out of sync rather than just doing them together, but yeah. There we go. I need to tighten. Fucking hell. I need to tighten and then realise that guy's fucking emergency braking for the boy going into shoulder. I need to tighten this mirror up. It was loose when I picked it up and it's now loose again, so Bodger here is gonna have to get his spanners out. So it's tyres, servicing. I just love how smooth and how quick it is. It is effortless, and it's, you know, the Tiger was more than enough for me, but this is just next level. It's such a good bike, really is. Just, yeah, and having it on track and just ripping up the straight at not kill, chasing a sports bike. I was like, yeah, okay, so Muppet here decided, oh, I need fuel, so yeah, I filled my 30-litre tank just before a skills day on not kill. Wasn't the best, but yeah, leaning into corners, heavy bike. I don't love pushing it around on the gravel at home, but there is no way my good lady is going to let me tarmac it, quite rightly so. Yeah, she's a heavy girl when she's fully loaded, and I guess when I did Orkney and Shetland, I didn't have panniers. I only had my top box and a duffel bag on the back seat, a waterproof one. And yeah, like getting on and off the ferries, she's heavy. And I guess that will hopefully be evened out a bit when I go to ABR. I'm going to borrow my neighbour Alan's GS panniers. Try not to ride it into a big yellow concrete pole like I did with my Tiger petrol station. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see weight with 2 fully loaded panniers on it, full tank of fuel. I will probably also have my what's it called? My tank bag on as well, which is a micro tank bag. So yeah, but yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I can't think of anything else, to be honest, guys. It's more than enough bike for me, and yeah, will hopefully do me for the next. It'll be interesting watching the prices of used GS's. Oh yeah, sorry, let me go back. There is one more thing I need to cover off. The wheels, massive pain in the arse to clean. Yeah, just massive pain in the arse. They are, and I forget how, but they are coated in the way they've been manufactured by BMW. I went to clean them because they were absolutely bogging, and sprayed some and actually I do remember the guy who I bought the bike from saying to me, just careful with those wheels. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be an idiot and put some acidic cleaner on them or something. So I used the stuff I've got in the garage there, non-acidic cleaner, and left it on for 5 minutes, and it was diluted as well. Came back, both wheels absolutely trashed. So lesson learned, soapy water next time only. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but that's not an accurate representation because that's mud from Knock Hill. But yes, they are looking horrible. You can sort of see the sort of whiteness, which is what the wheel cleaner has trashed them. So, thinking about getting it wrapped, also potentially thinking about gold wheels. What do you think? The gold look okay? Andy's got gold in his. Quite like it. I quite like it because it's got the gold suspension, I think that is. But again, those wire wheels are just an absolute biatch to clean. And this top box as well is sort of doesn't clean very well. I would actually prefer all black luggage on it. Maybe the Touratech stuff. Added number plate, which goes with that one. The braking and the indicating, well covered off by many people. It's not too bad. A lot of people have a separate, actually, I'm not going to be able, can do, disconnect my camera. Can I? No, I can't. I was going to show you braking and at the same time how that... Let me see if I can do this. I think everyone watching this will know, because there's aftermarket kits that... Anyway, so that is that. What would I like to get for the bike? I would quite like a telly to go in the telly holder. I am swithering. Well, I've just bought myself a quad lock case that actually fits my phone. I have bought a dampener, quad lock dampener there now, so hopefully it doesn't trash the camera as I think it did on my last one. But yes, so these are the tank protection resin, I think it's called, resin stickers. Sure there's, yeah, there we go, resin bike, the people that made it. But yeah, it just gives that, and I applied this one really badly. You can actually see the original vinyl there and the mismatch. So yeah, I've done a great job with the first one, not this side. But yeah, just gives a little bit of protection all around there. This exhaust, I think it was when I was up in Shetland, massive pain in the arse to clean as well. I have bought some Autosol. So I will, when I can see there's a bit of scuffing from where my boots rub against there. That's the Michelin Anarchy Adventure 2. Pretty chunky beast. But yeah. So I think that's that, guys. Bit disappointed the centre stands after only 6,000 miles, starting to get a bit rusty, but not the end of the world. What was I going to say about adding on a telly? So a nav unit, looked at various ones. I would quite like a full front and back sort of in-of camera system, just peace of mind. But yeah, what do you think in green? Thinking a sort of dark green colour. Make it a bit individual. I don't know. I did inquire with one vinyl wrapping company who said, well, I've never done a bike before. And I was like, well, I mean, is it much more different to a car? But he's like, what parts of the bike do you think you would like wrapped? I was like, don't know. No idea. Do you go green over the tank here, cover the plastic bits? Do you leave the plastic bits and just do the metal? Do you do something at the back? I don't know. But yes, panniers about 1,200 quid, £1,000, 800, second hand, various options. Kind of like the hard luggage though. Easy to pop on, pop off. But yeah. So I will bring this to a close. Great bike, absolutely love her. Tallulah, as she's been named. Tallulah, the black bob sled from, if you've ever seen Cool Runnings. Yeah. Brakes, phenomenal. Really, really good. Really chuffed with them. And as I said in another vlog, I'm rarely using my rear unless it's very slow moving stuff. Predominantly using my front now, and the fronts on this are just spot on. Anyway, anything you think, a mudslinger potentially, but I have the pressure washer in the garage now, so yeah, it's not a big deal. It comes off very easily. But yeah, I don't think some bigger dick lights. Do I need some Denali's? Do I need them? No. Andy fitted some to his. They do look pretty trick in terms of when you like put the indicators on, the lights down. Yeah, it just looks nice. And oh, lights just gone off. guy yesterday, the Triumph 1200 Sport. He had some Denali's on his, and I was in front of him looking back, and yeah, they looked pretty cool. Again, not necessary. Should I buy a cover? I had one for the Tiger's headlight. This is probably 3 times the price to replace so it gets cracked. Probably should. Anything else, guys, let me know in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you for watching, it means a lot. Yeah, until the next one, see you soon.